Good morning. It's 8:30 a.m. Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. This is a meeting of the Administration Committee. I'd like to call the order and acknowledge that the press and the public have been duly notified of the meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. All members are present. The first, there's no citizens' comments. Approval of previous minutes, meeting minutes. This is from our March 7th, 2023 meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any changes or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Old business is an update on the finance director hiring, and I don't know if there's other vacancies that you're prepared to update on as well, but give an update on those.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a couple of vacancies that I'll be happy to update you all on. Finance hiring, we keep working with a recruiting firm, find great people. We have interviewed about 5 candidates so far, one coming back for a second interview this week. It has been more challenging than we anticipated to fill this role. So it has taken us longer than we had initially anticipated. However, we still feel comfortable with our goal of having somebody here early May at the latest, so we can have 2 to 3 months of overlap between the time that we have somebody in line and hired and Debbie's retirement. My goal would be, once we have narrowed it down, to schedule a meet and greet with City Council and the rest of the executive staff, so you all could meet the candidate, ask them any questions. It's not going to be an official interview because council, it's not an appointed role, but I still want to get your feedback and your thoughts on that role. We have other vacancies as well. You all recall council approving the job description for the SDR position. That made the news, and apparently it's getting a lot of interest. We're getting a lot of applications for that role, internal and out and external. So I think we'll be able to move pretty quickly on that hire. We also have the code enforcement position in the police department. This is the second code enforcement position. Interviews are ongoing. We have one more this Friday, and I think we'd be able to narrow it down and hopefully make an offer. We have 1 firefighter vacancy and 1 CDL vacancy in the public works department that we're interviewing for as well. And then BSOs. We're in the process of hiring BSOs as well.
How many of those do we have hired?
We have 1.
And we're looking for
We're looking to hire 10.
10, okay.
Yes. The challenge is this is a position, a job, a role that usually is filled by college students. They have to have a high school diploma, and their timing and their availability is sometimes past the start of the season. So it's somewhat of a challenge to have everybody hired by Labor Day, which is Memorial Day. Wait, which one's in May? Memorial Day.
Are there resumes in queue?
Yes,
So-
yes. We have, do you?
I have 5 interviews.
Five VSO interviews this week. We believe that the increase in the hourly rate has helped significantly in people being interested in it.
So I want to back up just on the finance director.
Sure.
So you had 5 that you made it to an interview round, is that right?
Yes.
And then you interviewed all of them, and now you're bringing the 1 back for a second interview?
1, we are evaluating bringing another candidate back
Okay.
for a second interview as well.
And is that still open in terms of if there's new applicants?
Yes.
Or is that closed? So,
Yes, we're
so if
constantly.
someone else,
Yes. Constantly
the resume.
pushing and know of people that are interested that we're encouraging to apply as well. So those are being reviewed by the recruiter first. There's a series of interviews that they do ahead of us meeting them. So there are a few that are in that queue as well.
There was a second position under finance, so a finance analyst. Is there any work that started on that?
Not yet. So we're going to be working on a job description for that role. We have about 6 months embedded in the budget. As we could keep, continue to refine the budget, we'll may need to make adjustments to that. But at this point, we don't have a job description yet.
Wasn't that was also contingent upon whatever council finally decided?
That's
also,
right.
Right? And, okay.
Is that
After
something,
we-
at least on, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that something that we could maybe for the next meeting at least look for at a job description? And on the finance director, I'm noticing in the description, it says there's no staff supervisory responsibility associated with this position. So the ideal candidate must have the desire and expertise to function as the primary accountant for the city. Will it eventually have, when you're evaluating the candidates, are you also looking at them as to quote be, supervisory people, leaders, and to be able to develop in the event that we go forward with a financial analyst or other positions? And I guess the other question I have, did Laura report to Debbie or?
To me,
She did, okay, all right. Okay,
yes. As that
so that was a
role-
mouthful of questions. Sorry.
I mean, short answer, yes. I mean, as we start developing what that second role would look like, there'll probably be a reconfiguration of general government. We're just not there yet. And I think, at the simplest answer is we don't even have the space to add one more person upstairs. So that has to come into consideration as well. We're really focusing on the finance director at this point, and I think once we have somebody in line, it'll help us, redefine what that second role could look like. And I do anticipate potentially reconfiguring upstairs if we have, the accounts payable role plus the finance analyst, whether it's a junior accountant, what is it that we're looking for? I think that having somebody in place will help put structure around that.
All right. I can tell you from personal experience, the finance market is, for finance professionals, is a tight market.
It
It's
is.
tough.
We are seeing that, and in small local government, the challenge is we all wear multiple hats, and we have to have somebody that sees the big picture and can be part of the executive team as a strategic thinker, but at the same time be able to do the nuts and bolts.
Right.
Even if we hire somebody to supplement that, that office, if you will, you still need to have somebody with those skills to be able to supervise somebody doing that. So it has been somewhat of a challenge because, we are seeing a lot of people who are used to big departments who have, 2 or 3, 4, 5 people underneath them and a lot of delegation, and there's not a whole lot of people to delegate here. So we need somebody that can do the big and the small as well.
Exactly. All right.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions on that?
No.
All right. The next item is new business, where there's an open planning commission position that we're looking to fill. I believe we have 5 resumes here, or 6 resumes?
6.
6, I
6,
believe.
Yeah. So we have some good candidates. I guess the question is for us to entertain is how we move forward from here. Whether we want to bring in all of these 6 candidates and have an interview with all of them, or do we want to try to narrow this down to 3 today to bring in for an interview, or how we move forward with getting through to the next step of this?
Maybe, I think there are going to probably be additional openings in some of the committees at the end of the year. This is an interim because of a interim vacancy. I don't know, I mean, I think maybe we could try to get to 3 candidates today, and that would be maybe more efficient, or maybe we can talk through the candidates and see where they land,
Well-
and leave that open, or however you want to do it is fine with me.
It's hard for me because I don't know the people. That's why it's hard to just rule somebody out, other than if Douglas or somebody had any comments, around particular backgrounds or skills that would complement the planning commission, that we should try to narrow down in some ways. I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Douglas.
Yeah, I would just say that Steve Corney, who's going off, was an engineer and lived in Wild Dunes. Both of those were kind of characteristics that we looked for in that position. There is a chemical engineer in the list of applicants. Not a civil engineer like Steve, so not exactly an apples to apples comparison, but, you know, I guess if you put your mindset, if he was a technical, he was kind of a piece of technical expertise on the commission, and he was a Wild Dunes resident.
Well, do we want to interview all six? It's up to, I mean, just throw that out for
Do you have
conversation.
any comments?
Well, I think it'd be good if we could get to three, but I have kind of the same issue that John has. There's a few of these candidates, and they all look like they're good candidates, but there's a few that I've met and spent a little time with over the past couple of years, but I don't really know any of them really well,
Yeah.
you know, but,
Well, we
so
could,
I'm open if we want to go with all six and, you know, have them in here 15, 20 minutes apiece. That's
That's
good
fine.
with me, if we want to go that route, instead of just trying to,
I would feel more comfortable in just ruling somebody out based on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knowing them. And I know that's a little bit more time, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, if we stick to 15 to 20 minutes, we should be able to get through this whole thing in an hour and a half
yeah.
or so, a couple hours.
Yeah, we can do that. Just for the record, for y'all's knowledge, Steve Corney's role expires next year, next December. So you'd be selecting somebody to fill that unexpired term. And Councilmember Pierce is right, we have 4 positions that will be open at the end of this year. We had a sort of an informal policy that for somebody serving on their first term, they would be, if willing and able, they would be offered the opportunity to be reappointed for a second term. Then after a second term being serving, you'll open it up just to keep it kind of, you know, give other people an opportunity. So we'll have, I guess, an opportunity to add more folks if you all want by the end of the year.
But on the appointment, it still goes through the same council approval as any other
Yes, sir.
appointments too. So it's, you know, that person that's been sitting there for a year and a half filling the seat can put their name back in, and typically we would just go ahead with council if they've done a really good job and approve it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is this something we want to do a special meeting for, or do we want to have or roll it to the next one? I'm open for a special meeting if we want to bring in all 6 and.
Well, I think we should
It's up
just
to you.
go ahead and plan something here and try to get this done before the end of April.
Yeah.
So I don't know what calendars look like, but,
Do you all like Tuesdays, or is there
I
a different?
like Tuesdays.
You like Tuesdays? Okay, we could do. We can try the 18th.
Yep. It's tax day.
Good with me. Yeah. Pay taxes and then do interviews.
So we can do the 18th in the morning,
No, that works, that'll work for me.
8:30. Maybe if some folks work, they could come in and do the quick interview before they head out. So we'll plan for the 18th at 8:30,
All right.
9
Yep.
o'clock.
Let's do that.
It's good.
Okay.
And miscellaneous business, the next meeting date, I've got a conflict for what our next meeting date it would be. In fact, I'm not gonna be available until the 16th probably of May.
Unless something comes
Should
up.
we just look at and see if there's any agenda items that really need to be covered, and then we can look at it at that point? Or-
That's what I was thinking. I know that you all asked for a copy of the job description for that role. That's something we can share ahead of time. So that would be the only pending matter, unless something else comes up. You can make a recommendation after the interviews at that special meeting. So we can put something in the books, and if there's no need to meet, we could, you know,
Yeah.
as the chair, John, you can determine that.
All right?
Okay.
All right. I
So
think
when do
that
we want to do it?
The 16th, I would like to do it the 16th.
Of May?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that would
available
work.
That day.
So that's going to be a placeholder, and we'll decide once we
Whether
go through the
there's-
interviews and whether there's agenda items that
Correct.
we need to address.
Yeah.
Okay.
Works.
8:30, same
8:30,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I
All
think
right.
that is it. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Off record, 8:45.